Welcome to the Kitchen Remodel Made Easy podcast. I'm your host, Robin Johnson, and I can't wait to chat with you about one of the most exciting topics ever, kitchen design, right? I mean, who doesn't dream of remodeling their kitchen? Friends, if you're looking to up-level the most important room in your home, I am so glad you're here. As an award-winning designer of over 20 years, kitchens are my absolute favorite room in the house. Join me to discover the latest design trends, color palettes, and what you should know when it comes to choosing a layout, cabinetry appliances, and so much more. With hundreds of decisions to be made and thousands of dollars on the line, you won't want to miss an episode. Let's get started. Hi, friends. Welcome back to the show. Today, we're talking about something that affects all of us, and that is having clean drinking water in our kitchens. Having the knowledge about what your options are will empower you to make the best decision for you and your family. And whether you're thinking about maybe adding a system to your current kitchen, or maybe you're planning out some kind of filtration system for an entirely new kitchen, I think you're going to enjoy and learn a lot in today's episode. So we're going to talk about reverse osmosis water systems and what those are, and then 5 things that you kind of need to think through when you're going to be shopping for a system. So what is reverse osmosis anyway? Well, I'm sure that you've heard of filtered water, and reverse osmosis, also called RO, or I'm going to call it RO today for short, is really just a fancy term for pushing water through an extra fine filter. You can think of it like a microscopic net that catches almost everything that you don't want in your water, things like chlorine, sediment, metals, and even unpleasant tastes and odors. In fact, purified water will actually improve the taste of coffee, tea, and cooking ingredients. What comes out the other end of a reverse osmosis system is simply clean, fresh tasting water. And over the years recently, I've had more and more clients requesting to have these systems included in their kitchen design. And I think it's important to talk about why this is important, and the different ways and price points, or I guess the different options really out there that there are. So I think one of the reasons that these row systems, as I'm going to call them, are in demand today is because more and more studies are finding chemicals like PFAS in local water supplies. These are those forever chemicals or contaminants that are long lasting and break down very slowly over time. And according to the EPA website, here is a direct quote. PFAS are found in the blood of people and animals all over the world and are present at low levels in a variety of food products and in the environment. PFAS are found in water, air, fish, and soil at locations across the nation and the globe. Scientific studies have shown that exposure to some PFAS in the environment may be linked to harmful health effects in humans and animals. There are thousands of PFA chemicals, and they are found in many different consumer, commercial, and industrial products. And this makes it challenging to study and assess the potential human health and environmental risks. And then lastly, the article went on to say that researchers and partners across the country are working hard to answer critical questions like how to better and more efficiently detect and measure PFAS, and how many people are exposed to them, and how harmful they are to people and the environment, and how to remove them from drinking water, and just how to manage and dispose of them when they find them. And then on top of all that, there's old plumbing systems that can add things like lead or rust into the water. And even if your city water meets safety standards, they still don't remove everything. So, with all that said, for many homeowners, a reverse osmosis water system is like an insurance policy for peace of mind that the water that your family is drinking or cooking with is as clean as possible. So, let's talk about 5 things to consider when narrowing down the best system for you. All right, number one is you need to consider an under sink system versus a whole house system. So, an under sink row system is the most common option for homeowners. And these units sit neatly inside your kitchen cabinet and they work with a dedicated faucet just for drinking and cooking water. Because you'll have to purchase and change filters, every so often, it would get expensive, obviously, to use filtered water to wash your dishes, etc. So having that separate faucet makes sense. Then there's a whole house system. And this filters all the water that comes into your home, every tap, every shower, and even your washing machine. They're fantastic if you're living on a well or if you're dealing with serious water quality issues. Obviously, they're more expensive and they take up a lot more room. That was number one. Number two is comparing a tank versus a tankless system. And a tanked system is going to be bigger and will take up more room under your cabinet, but it costs less. How it works, a tanked system, the water will slowly fill up and it's stored into a pressurized tank under your sink. And when you turn on the faucet, water will instantly come out. And the pros are that it's a lower cost, they're reliable, they've been around for decades, and there's a lot of choices from different brands. The cons are they're bigger, they take up a lot of room in the cabinet, and if the water has been sitting in the tank for a while, it can taste kind of flat sometimes, and it's slightly slower to refill it after you have used it up. Then the tankless system, which is a newer style system. Um, the system filters water on demand using a high efficiency pump. The pros are it's sleek and compact. There's a faster flow rate at the faucet. The water actually can taste a little bit fresher since it is filtered on demand. And the cons are obviously it's more expensive, and it does require electricity to run the pump, and there's fewer models available, but it is a growing market. So that's tank versus tankless systems. Okay, number three, air gap versus non-air gap faucet. Well, what in the world? I'm getting techie today, I know. But every row system requires some type of row faucet to make it work, is the bottom line. A regular faucet's just not going to work. So there's two main differences. There's an air gap faucet and a non-air gap faucet. And different systems have different ones, and different states have different requirements. So it's important to know if there's a certain code that your state has that requires you to have one of these over the other. So the biggest difference is the air gap faucet has like a little built-in safety break in the drain line so that if your sink ever backs up, dirty water can't flow backwards into the reverse osmosis system. Air gap faucets are a little more expensive. They're a little louder and they're a bit trickier to install, but they give you that added protection. The non-air gap faucet drains straight down, and of course, you don't have that safety. They're quieter, they're simpler, and they're less expensive. So there's that. All right, consideration number four. Faucet style and finish options. Well, of course, a designer's going to tell you, yeah, you need to make sure that whatever this new faucet is you're going to pick out to put in your kitchen, obviously needs to work with the plumbing in your kitchen, right? So most people put a reverse osmosis faucet, a filtered faucet right on their main sink next to the main faucet. In fact, you may have had one, or you may have gone over to a friend's house and seen a cute little secondary faucet there at the sink and wondered what it was. Well, that is a filtered water faucet. And so you need to make sure that it matches in the style and the color, the finish, as to what the other fixtures are in your room. Now, some people will choose to put this filtered faucet maybe in a butler pantry or maybe a coffee bar area, but I mean, I think for ease of use, the main sink is probably the best location. Then fifthly, the fifth consideration is if you want to upgrade your system to have instant hot, cold, or sparkling water. So if I haven't blown your mind already, you want to think about if you want to add some more luxury to your filtered water system. There are brands like Delta, Brizo, Kohler, and Moen that currently offer these systems, and it makes it really easy if you already have those brands in your kitchen. Obviously, those finishes are going to line up and match, but all of them only offer room temp or cold filtered water. So if you want to upgrade to maybe instant hot water, you'll need to look at a brand like Water Drop or the Insinkerator. And those can be purchased as standalone units, kind of an all-in-one stop shop. Or if you already have a filtered water faucet and you want to add that instant hot water, they also make like adapters and systems that can work with what you have. So it gets kind of complicated, but there are options out there. And then lastly, I want to mention the Rolls-Royce of water systems. And that is made and sold by Zip Water, and they sell for, I think, around five to even $6,000. And that includes, you know, you get instant hot, instant cold, and all the sparkling water that you can drink, all filtered with the best purification system. So you can check out Zip Water if you're wanting to go there. So really, I hope all of this is educational for you. It's really not that overwhelming. In fact, if I'm working on a project and a customer says, I want a reverse osmosis system, I'll tell you where I start. I go to build.com and I like to pull up to see what systems are available on the website. They're obviously sold by Ferguson's, and I'll meet with the staff there as well. But I like to jump on there and just see what styles and finishes are available, because I'm obviously going to coordinate that to the other plumbing fixtures to make sure that everything's going to work, and then kind of back into it that way. And then, of course, don't forget to ask about your state's plumbing codes, which is another great reason to work with a professional plumbing showroom. So your takeaways for today, here's the 5 things we talked about. Number 1, you want to decide whether or not you need a whole house filtration system or just a drinking water system at your sink. Number 2, you want to choose between a tank or a tankless system, which will affect the price. Number 3, you want to know whether or not you need or want an air gap versus a non-air gap faucet, whether or not you want that safety. Number 4, you definitely want to match the brand that you go with to your plumbing and your kitchen style overall. And number 5, you want to consider if you want instant cold, hot, or sparkling water included with your system. So that's it, friends. I hope that's reverse osmosis water made easy for you, and hopefully that clears things up. Thanks for joining me today. Thanks for tuning in to the Kitchen Remodel Made Easy podcast. If you want to continue the conversation or share your thoughts, I'd love to hear from you. Head over to my Instagram page at Robin Johnson Interiors and send me a DM. If you're curious how to get started on your own remodeling journey, well, I have a free resource for you that you can download called the Kitchen Remodel Starter Kit in the show notes below, or you can head to my website and grab it there on the front page. Friends, if you enjoyed today's podcast and you can't wait to hear more, please leave a raving review to help others find me. And if you didn't, well, don't worry about it. Have a great weekend, and I'll be back soon for more kitchen design conversations.